So what we are going to be looking at today is we are going to be understanding uh, how to, calculate or how to factorize fully the difference of two squares, right? So we are going to do different examples on a difference of two squares, on how to simplify difference of two squares, right? So let's get the ball rolling. Now, firstly, number one. Now let's say, for example, now we are given that you have 9x, you have 9x squared, 9x squared subtract 1. And they say you need to factorize this fully. Now, in order for you to factorize this fully, you need to firstly, have at least what? You must have square numbers, right? You must have square numbers, or you must be in a position to say these are square numbers, right? And secondly, now you are then going to do it. Now, in this case, look, you have 9, you have x squared, you have 1, and all of these are square numbers. So what you're going to do here, this is going to be what? What is the square root of 9? It is 3. So this is going to be 3x subtract 1. And the other one is going to be what? 3x plus 1. And then now you have solved your difference of two squares, right? Now let's look at a second example. Now let's say in this case, now we are given that you have 49x squared subtract 25y squared, right? Now if you can check, can you see that these are still square numbers and y is squared and also x is squared, right? So which means we are going to still do the same thing. This is going to be, what is the square root of 49? It's going to be your 7. So this is going to be 7x squared subtract 5. I mean, it doesn't have to be x squared because remember, we are solving for difference of two squares, right? So this is going to be 7x. This is going to be 7x subtract 5y, right? And this is going to be 7x again plus what? Plus 5y, right? Then now you have solved these example on difference of two squares, right? Now let's check another one. Now let's say you are given that you have 1 over 4x squared subtract 1 over 9y squared, right? So now what is it that you're going to do? Look, even here, these are still square numbers. Now, let's get another nice color here. Now, if you can check here, can you see that now this 1 is still a square number and also 4 is still a square number, right? Similarly here, 1 is a square number and 9 is a square number, right? So this is going to be what? Now this is going to be 1 over 2x subtract 1 over 3y. And the other one is going to be 1 over 2x plus 1 over 3y, right? Now you have solved the examples now on difference of two squares. Now let's see in terms of whether can we not find another examples on difference of two squares, right? Let's erase here. You are given that you have 4a. It's 4a squared subtract 64, let's say b squared. Now they say you need to factorize this. Now this one is different, right? Now what is going to be important is that now, firstly, number one, you're going to take out what? A common factor, right? You're going to check in terms of, do you have a common factor? And remember, this is not just any common factor, but this is the highest common factor. So you're going to check out your highest common factor. So now if you can check here, 4 is going to be your highest common factor. And then you're going to be left with a squared subtract 16 a squared. Isn't it so? 15b squared, I mean. So this is going to be 15b. This is not a, this is b. So this is 15b squared. Now, what is it that now you can do? Now, can you see that a squared? Now, if you can check, a squared, 16 and also b squared are square numbers, right? So this is still going to be now what? 4 into a subtract, what is the square root of 16? The square root of 16 is 4. So this is going to be what? This is going to be your 4b into a plus your 4b altogether. Then now you have factorized these fully, right? Now let's check another interesting example on that, right? Now, let's make up some space here. Now in this one, let's say now I give you that you have x squared into bracket x subtract k, right? And then what else do you have? Let's say you have plus y squared into k subtract x, right? Now this one looks a little bit complicated, but let's just use our, rule of thumb. Now, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to do what? We are going to do sign change. Why are you going to do sign change? Remember, look, if you can look at x subtract k and this one is k subtract x, can you see that these two things are different, right? So which means we need to make these brackets to be the same, right? How can we make this bracket to be the same? For example, we can take out the negative there. So what is it that you're going to have if you take out the negative? Let's see, you are going to have x, x subtract k, right? Now, isn't it so? And then now that's going to be correct one, because now if you multiply by the x by the negative again, you're still going to get the correct things, right? So now what is it that we are going to do? This is therefore going to be your x squared into bracket x subtract k. Now remember, now you've taken out the negative sign, so this is going to be now negative y squared into what? Into x subtract your k. Are we together? And then now what is it that we are going to do now? Remember, these are two terms, so you can take out a common factor between these two terms. Remember, these are two terms, right? So now then what you're going to do, you can take out x subtract k as your common factor. You're going to be left with x squared subtract your y squared, right? And then now what is it that you are going to have now? Can you see that now this is going to be what? X subtract your k, and x squared subtract y squared is a difference of two squares. So this is going to be x subtract y and also x plus y. And then now you have successfully solved this problem. Are we together? So that's that. Now let's check in terms of what else can we have here. Let's just make up some space. Let's use 2. Now, let's say in this case now, you are given that you have a subtract b squared, right? Subtract into 2a subtract b squared, right? Look at this one, right? Now, what is it that you can take out from here? Surely you can see that these ones, this is a number, right? For example, you can take this as your variable, let's say variable a and b. Can you see that your a is going to be squared, your b is also squared? Can you see that, right? And there's a minus, which makes this to be different of two squares, right? So which means we can solve it the way it is. Now let's start. What is it that we are going to do here? So we're going to say this is a difference of two squares. Let's use a much bigger bracket so that we can be able to accommodate our brackets here. So this is going to be a subtract b, right? Subtract into what? 2a subtract b, right? Then the other bracket is going to be still what? It's going to be a subtract b plus what? Plus 2a subtract b, right? Are we together? Now, remember, this is just what is required of us, right? And then now, what is it that we can do now from here? Now that we have, used the difference of two squares, we can try to solve this within here. Now, look, if you can take out or you multiply this with the negative, what is it that you're going to have? Look, this is going to be a subtract b. Subtract what? Subtract 2a, and this here it's going to be plus b, right? And the other one, what are you going to have here? You're going to have a subtract b plus 2a subtract b, right? And then now what is it that we're going to do here? You can still simplify this. This is you have a subtract 2a. What is it that you are going to have here? Now this is going to be same as what? Your negative a, and b plus minus b. Remember, this is negative b, and then now because of this negative, this was also altered, so this is going to be only negative a. Let's look at this side. This side, what is it that we are going to have? Now, if you can collect the like terms, this is going to give you your 3a, and negative b and negative b is going to give you negative 2b altogether. So basically, to furtherly, simplify this, you can still multiply by the a here. So this is going to be same as, let's say, negative a into 3a subtract 2b altogether. Now this is going to be a solution, right? So make sure that you check out all the questions that are like this, right? So that is as far as different of two squares is concerned.